What is up, everybody? It is Henry here, and today we are doing a competitive Valorant agent tier list. This is including Skye, um, S through D tier, and this is completely different from a casual pub tier list I would make, because this is more of a tactical, team-based tier list based off of competitive and how it fits in with a team, compared to just going around and pub stomping with a W key agent. So yeah, just wanted to put my thoughts in on this and help the community out if you are just starting out, or if you want some more feedback on how your agent ranks with everybody else in the agent roster. So without further ado, let's get into it. So starting off with Breach, I feel as if Breach is an A tier agent, so I'm gonna go ahead and put him there. He has a lot of really nice entry utility. So especially on attacker side, defender side too, but attacker side is where Breach really shines. I feel he has his aftershock, which is really good for like clearing a corner if you don't want to peek. If it's like a wide angle and you don't want to be exposed to the whole bomb site or like a whole choke point, and you just want to like clear this one corner. You can do that with his aftershock. His flash point's really good entry flash. It's really hard to see coming, and if you get blinded, you're blinded for a while. And if not, you're still having to turn away and give the advantage to the Breach player. His fault line, I feel like, is his worst ability, but it can also be really useful if you know how to use it. If you're trying to clear down a whole lane, it can clear the whole thing out. But as an attacker, I feel like fault line is definitely more of a defender side ability, because as an attacker, you cannot clear, like a whole site. Barely ever can you clear a whole choke point with fault line. But his Rolling Thunder is very good and can stop a whole team and set up a really good push for Breach. So that's why he's an A tier for me. Moving on to Brimstone, I'm putting Brim in C tier. Hate me as much as you want. I know smokes are useful, but as useful as his smokes are, I really do not see many other good uses for Brim. I know he can stop the bomb with his molly, but in a lot of higher tiered lobbies, when you get up towards like Diamond, Immortal, Radiant, you'll start to realize that people will just hunt out the Brimstone at the beginning of the round, so he can't have the option to molly the bomb and chain that with his orbital strike and his molly. So the Brims will die to the more attacker, duelist, W key agents a lot more. But I do think his smokes are still useful, but I do feel Omen's smokes are a lot better, and he has a more well-rounded kit. Brim, his stem beacon is really bad. I never see it used in competitive play well, especially in the higher ranks. I don't know how it works down in the lower ranks, if you can just stack kills on a bomb site there. His molly is good, but it's not that big of a radius, and it really can't do that much. Yeah, it can stop the bomb again, but that's one situation, and it normally gets stopped before anything can happen with his ult molly combo. And if you do let him stay alive for that long, you deserve to lose the round because of that. But that also isn't much of a problem in lower tier lobbies, like lower ranks, like Iron, Bronze, Silver, Gold, and even some Plat lobbies where a lot of Brims don't know any lineups. But that's just besides the point. I feel like Brim is not that good of an agent. He is not that strong a kit. But moving on, we have somebody on the complete other end of the spectrum. We have Cypher, who I feel like is the best agent in the game. I'm not a Cypher main, but I do know how effective and useful Cypher can be over Killjoy, and just shutting down a bunch of sites. Especially if you're playing on a single bomb site map, Icebox, Split, Bind, Haven, he is still really good. He can shut down an entire site with all his utility. His tripwire, or his trapwire, or whatever, is very useful. It's hard to see coming, especially if you're doing a full execute onto a bomb site that he has locked down. His cyber cage, they act as really good smokes, and they give you the sound cue for when somebody is entering. And his spy cams are also useful, so once he sets up the site that he is pretty much shutting down, he can literally just leave the site and be checking the spy cam every once in a while to make sure that they're not pushing through there. And if he is, he can tell his team, and they can all start rotating over there. But his spy cam, his kit is really good, and his null theft is also, he gets so much information. Cypher gets so much information, and I feel like with all four of his abilities combined, I feel like Cypher can get so much information, and he can shut down an entire bomb site all by himself, and he can either leave just one bomb site, or just two to defend, and that makes it a lot easier than having to split 5 players among 3 bomb sites. And I don't feel like he has one bad ability. I feel like he works really well with his team, and he can rebound off of other agents really well. But yeah, he is great on defense, and he can hold a lot of real estate on his own. He's also useful on offense. He can limit, potential flank routes or make preventing a defusal a lot easier. But that's about it for Cypher. I do think he is the best agent in the game, and I don't think I'm gonna place anybody above him. Killjoy, she is kind of weird. I'm putting her in B tier. While she is, she is. People compare her to Cypher, but I don't think she's comparable to Cypher. She is a Sentinel. She is also more of an informational agent. But I think that's kind of where the comparison stops here. She can shut down a site, but definitely not as strong as Cypher. Her Nano Swarm got nerfed a while ago. It's not as good as it used to be. And her Alarm Bot and her Turret do not rebound off of each other like all of Cypher's abilities can. Her ultimate is is her best ability, every agent. But that's the only one thing that shines about Killjoy, I feel, is her ultimate is really good on defense and offense for either clearing out a site on an execute as offense or shutting down a site completely on defense. And it can be used really well if she knows good spots to place it where it's not going to get shot out. Her Alarm Bot is definitely... it is good, but it is not as overpowered as it used to be when Killjoy released initially. Her turret is also pretty good, but can be countered really easily because it has a pretty short firing range and visual range as well. Cypher is just a lot better than Killjoy, and I don't think it's really comparable. Her kit is okay, and she's a solid agent to pick, but I don't think she's anything too special. And Cypher and Silva are also I feel like are a lot better picks compared to Killjoy. But moving on, we have Jett, who I used to play a lot of in competitive and casual. I'm putting Jett in B tier above Killjoy. She's our first duelist that we've ranked so far. Jett is very special. She's great. She's the most mobile agent. Her kit is mainly targeted towards mobility. Her smokes are the weakest in the game, but she does have 3 of them, and she is not mint. She is not a very if you needed smokes, you wouldn't be I'm gonna play Jett. You play Jett if you want to be really aggressive, and you want to be very mobile. Her ultimate is really good if you know how to use it and you can aim. She doesn't provide much utility for the team outside of her 3 smokes, but she can dash to engage or disengage, so she's a really good opper. She can put herself in really bad situations and easily get out of them with her dash, which I feel like is her best ability. And then her updraft, she can also get to higher positions, which I feel like is probably her worst ability, but it can still be useful in many situations, and paired with some of her other abilities, she's still pretty solid and all-around decent agent to run. Players like Tens, he really shows how Jett can be used to the highest ability and caliber up in Radiant ranks in professional play. She's a very good all-around agent. And I feel like putting her in B tier is the best option here. She plays more of a solo role, not as well with her team, but she also is supposed to frag out, so playing with a team is not much of an option unless you're on offense. Yeah, but moving on, we have Omen. He is my second A tier agent, right above Breach actually. His smokes are really good. He is more of like a flanker or a team player who is, he's able to get behind enemy lines with teleports, and he can strike from sneaky angles. He has some utility in the form of like smoke grenades, another ability that can go through walls and obscure the vision of enemies, which is his paranoia. His paranoia is really good used as a like quote entry flash, not necessarily a flash but a blind, which does just the same thing as a flashbang, but it's only for certain people. It can go through walls unlike flashbangs, which can be made either better or worse depending on the situation you're in. His smokes are really good. I say they're some of the best in the game. They cover a very large radius, and he can smoke without having to put himself in like a bad situation in the open. So offense and defense, he's really good for that. His Shrouded Step, I say, is definitely his worst ability, but he can have some crazy outplays and just some overall big brain plays with his Shrouded Step. He's a very well-rounded agent. He's really good for team play. His ult can be used for outplays on offense and on defense. And he's definitely a very mobile agent, and he provides really good team play. He can bounce off of other agents really well, paired with his smokes and his blinds. He's a very good agent, one of the best picks in the game, and I definitely would put him in A tier, no doubt. Moving on to my main, my Phoenix. This isn't much of a biased tier list. This is just what I know. I would like to say I play Phoenix better than the average person, and I think I do. I'm putting him right above Jett and B tier, or I can put him I'm putting it right above Jett and B tier. This is my honest opinion. I do think, obviously, he's not the strongest agent in the game, but I have a CSGO background, and flashbangs really help with that. His flashbangs are really strong. You can, he curves around walls, so it's almost impossible to, look away from his flashbangs in time, unless you're getting lucky or you have really good reaction times. But yeah, some of Phoenix's flashbang lineups, and they're really good, and they're hard to counter. He's a really good entry fragger. That's what gravitated me towards Phoenix whenever I started playing the game, was his ability to entry frag with his flashbangs. It paired with his ultimate, which is personally, I feel like his ultimate is one of the best in the game if you know how to utilize it correctly. Phoenix, he is a really strong player. Phoenix is a really strong agent. His ultimate, Run It Back, is really good. You can, it's pretty much just a free life. Either gather intel or try to get a few picks. He's really good for offense and defense. He can somewhat shut down a site on defense for a short amount of time with his ultimate and his his hot hands and his blaze. His curveball is more of an entry fragger thing, so it's more used for offense, but can also be used for retakes on defense really well. But yeah, paired is curveball and his Run It Back can be really useful for entry fragging and intel gathering. Along with his longevity, like of his lifespan, with his blaze and his hot hands also giving him the ability to heal himself. So he is a self healer, which I feel like adds to his kit really well. But I don't think he ranks as high as like Omen and Cypher and Breach. But he is really good for a lot of entry fraggers and CS players who gravitated towards him. And yeah, he's a really good, well-rounded overall agent, and that is why I love him and why so many other people do. But yeah, I'm putting him in B tier for all those reasons. He also has some weaknesses that I'm not going to touch on that are pretty self-explanatory. Doesn't have much team utility, not much mobility. But yeah, he is a really good agent overall, I feel. Moving on, we have Raze, who I have put the lowest on my, competitive agent tier list. She doesn't really work that well on a team at all. She has no smokes, she has no flashes, she has mobility, but even then, it's not that good. you see a lot of flashy Raze plays in lower ranks and in pubs. So I think you see the most clips of like Raze on like Reddit and YouTube, like big montages. Yeah, but Raze does not work that well as a team. I don't feel like she shines on offense or defense. Personally, her kit has like a remote detonated grenade, and a cluster bomb. Her rocket launcher is obviously her best ability. Her ultimate, it can kill multiple people at once. But I still feel like it's not that strong and very easily counterable. She's a very easily counterable agent, and she doesn't work well with the team. Just in general. No mobility, or she has mobility. No smokes, no flashes. She has no team play, no intel gathering, no nothing. She's more of a solo player, and that's not what you want in a competitive standpoint. You want 5 agents that can work really well together and go hand in hand together. And Raze is more of a solo fragger, more of a casual agent, I'd say, and that's why I'm putting her as the worst agent in the game for competitive play. But I do think she is really good in casual, but this is more of a competitive tier list, remember. Yeah, moving on, we have Sage. Sage is she was the first OG healer. She was really strong. She was like 100% S tier, like back in beta and like very earlier like 4 releases of the game. And then she got nerfed in like patch 1.02, 1.03 or something like that. Her wall got nerfed into the ground. She doesn't heal full anymore. Her slow orbs aren't as good. Her wall got recently buffed to where it doesn't decay, but still she's a very or use. I wouldn't say she's useless, but I would put her in B tier, the low end of B tier. I'll put her above Killjoy, because she still is a good healer. She can work well with the team. Her wall is good for blocking off entrances, especially now since she doesn't. Her wall doesn't decay. Her slow orbs are still decent. They can still slow down a full execute or an enemy push to either hold off until her teammates can rotate, or just to block off like a whole choke point. So she is good in that regard. I just feel like after she got nerfed, she became so limited, and she dropped down to one of a mid-tier agent. But she is still really good for competitive play. But yeah, I would not put her any higher than B tier. And that's all I have to really say about Sage. Her ult is still really strong. Of course, I still feel as if it is one of the strongest in the game, bringing a whole other player back to life. But nonetheless, she is still B tier in my heart. Moving on, we have the newest agent in Valorant, Skye. I put Skye in low A tier, below Breach and Omen. I do feel as if she's a better healer than Sage, or just a better character than Sage. While Sage was like mainly designed to heal and resurrect and stuff, Skye was more of a she was like a fragger healer, so more of like a battle medic. If you've ever heard that term before. She's initiator and support hybrid that can help her team by like engaging and scouting and healing like all at the same time. Her kit with her team heal, I feel like that's pretty good. It has a pretty balanced, good radius. I don't think she's S tier or high A tier, but she is definitely low A tier, very high B tier. However you look at that. She has her ultimate, which is pretty good. It's good for intel gathering, finding out where the enemies are. Her team heal is good because it can heal multiple people at once. I do like how Riot made Skye have a certain amount of healing at the beginning, and it can't recharge, unlike Viper, which we'll get to. She's the last agent that we're gonna get to. I feel like she's a really balanced agent actually, and she's really good if you know how to use her correctly. If you have good aim and good game sense, you can definitely take advantage of Skye's full kit with her, flashbangs, which are pretty good. They're hard to counter, especially since you can control the flashbangs and decide when you want to make them pop. But they are shootable, so I feel like that is also balanced, and you can tell when they're coming more because it has little hawk sound cue. But yeah, she's really good. Good team play, can rebound off of like flashes and smokes really well. I feel like more better than other agents can. Yeah, she's really good. I would say definitely A tier, good, well-rounded agent. She's really good. Yeah. So moving on, we have Silva, who I'm going to put in S tier. Some of you might not agree. Some of you might agree with this. Silva, he's like a really good like overall intel gathering, just like Cypher agent. He has the ability to bounce arrows and scout enemies or kill them like around corners, through walls. His owl drone can be used to mark like where enemies are. And gathering intel like that and like through walls and not putting yourself at risk is like so good in higher like rank gameplay. Not putting yourself at risk and being able to know where the enemies are, and just one single dart, recon dart can like put the entire enemy's team entire enemy's team's plan like in their execute just like in shambles, put it in shambles. Getting that much intel all at once without putting yourself at risk is really useful. And with all of the crazy lineups people are finding like every day, he just progressively gets better. He can pretty much lock down a bomb on defense after it's planted to a certain extent. If you know lineups, especially in higher like tier gameplay, where people know like a lot of solo lineups that are really good for recon and shock at like darts. Yeah, he is a very good. I wouldn't say he's better than Cypher, but he is very strong in competitive gameplay. He can also not lock down a site, but he can gather so much information on a site that it's pretty much locked down. And can also stall on defense and offense, to get his teammates to rotate to the site if he's being executed on, or if they want to execute, they can pick a site and get intel on where they want to go and gather, intel on how many enemies are there, who's in the close surroundings, stuff like that. So he's really useful for offense and defense. I feel like he's really strong, and he shines on both sides of the bomb. But moving on, we have Reyna. Reyna, she is really special. I used to play a decent amount of Reyna, like whenever she released. I'm putting her personally in C tier. Some people aren't going to agree with this, but I have to put her in high C tier. Maybe very low B tier. I'm really torn between these two, but I'm going to put her in low C tier for now. Her utility isn't the best. Like I said, whenever you're playing like higher ranked competitive game, you want 5 agents that can work really well together. And Reyna doesn't really have that. She has flashes, or technically blinds or whatever, but again, that's like her only team utility. Other than that, she's just like, she's a fragger. She's an entry fragger. It's the same problem with Jett and Phoenix, and Raze. They all are really good like on their own, and Reyna really like showcases that. Like she is like a self healer. She doesn't need like a healer. She doesn't need Sage. She doesn't need Skye. Her ult, both of her like healing and both of her healing and dismiss abilities. Those are really like solo play, like entry frag, like go plays. Her ult is also an entry frag, like a big frag out type thing. She has blinds. Those are her only like quote team thing, like team like utility. But again, she's just a fragger, but yeah, she's not that strong. You have to put it into perspective compared to these other agents that are very strong. She just does not, shine. I feel like what she lacks in utility is barely made up by her raw killing power. And just, you have to get one kill to get going, and even once you get going, it's not that hard to stop, especially since Valorant is like a one-shot headshot game. If you have like a good raw aim, you're going to be able to stop Marina no matter what ability she's using. That's why she's in C tier for me. Moving on to Viper, our last agent on the tier list. She is in C tier with Brimstone and Reyna. I do not think she's in D tier. I don't think she's deserved the hate that she. Maybe I'll put him above. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, she she wields toxic gases that run off like a refillable like reserve, so she can emit poison from a grenade or create a line wall with the poison. Her ultimate is pretty much just a big poison like room type thing, making her like a great like offensive character. She's a really good bomb planter, and she can lock down a site after the bomb's planted for the most part. You know, she is a pretty good team player. You know, she has good team utility with her poison clouds and her snake bites and her toxic screens that can create walls and smokes that you know, you can line up from anywhere, and her ult is really good for offense. I feel like she is a very balanced character on both sides of the bomb. You know, she has smokes. She has like her, I think she's really unique because she has smokes that do damage. She has like technically like a molly with her snake bite and a toxic screen that, you know, like is also acts as like somewhat of a smoke, just like on a larger scale. And her ultimate is very powerful for offense, not as much on defense. She can kind of lock down a site on both sides, but yeah, she's not super strong, but she is definitely not D tier and not below the other two agents in C tier. But yeah, she definitely shines mainly on offense, I feel, but she is pretty balanced. It's hard to balance. It's hard to make Viper like an B or an A tier agent, just because she like her concept is hard to like make really good. But yeah, she is a good agent, I feel. But she just doesn't compare to some of the other agents above her. But her kit is pretty good, and yeah, it allows for good team play, bouncing off other agents. So this is my competitive Valorant agent tier list, including Skye. This is my updated 2.0 version as of you can see December 28, 2020. You know, feel free to leave your feedback in the comments section. On if you feel this is a good tier list, or what you would change, what you would keep the same. Yeah, I'd love to see you guys' feedback in the future. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy, please make sure to subscribe, like, comment, do all that shit. But yeah, I do appreciate you guys watching this video all the way through. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.